How could two polar opposites become one of the greatest tag teams in wrestling history? How did two struggling singles wrestlers, both on the verge of fading into obscurity, rise to the top of WWE's most chaotic and unpredictable era? And how did success, ego, and addiction nearly tear it all apart? The story of the New Age Outlaws is one of rebellion, triumph, and self-destruction. When Road Dogg Jesse James and badass Billy Gunn first came together in 1997, few believed they would become one of the most dominant and beloved teams in WWE history. At the time, both were floundering. Jesse James had spent years playing the role of the real Double J, a failed attempt to replace Jeff Jarrett. Billy Gunn had once been a respected tag team wrestler as part of the Smoking Guns, but found himself lost after a forgettable run as Rockabilly under the mentorship of the Honky Tonk Man. It was WWE's decision to throw them together that changed everything. Almost instantly, their chemistry was undeniable. Road Dogg was the mouthpiece, a trash-talking, quick-witted showman who could electrify the crowd with nothing more than a microphone. Billy Gunn was the athlete, a powerhouse with a perfect blend of size, speed, and agility. Together, they became the team no one saw coming, but no one could ignore. Their rise began with a shocking moment, defeating the legendary Legion of Doom to capture the WWF Tag Team Championships in late 1997. It was a passing of the torch moment, proving that the brash, cocky newcomers were here to stay. But the way they did it made them instant villains. They humiliated Hawk and Animal, stealing their shoulder pads and mocking them in the ring. This wasn't just a victory, it was a statement. From there, the Outlaws became the most hated tag team in WWE. They defended their titles against top teams like the Headbangers and the Godwins, solidifying themselves as champions who would do anything to win. Their cocky attitude and underhanded tactics made them despised, but the fans couldn't help but be entertained by their antics. The Outlaws' biggest moment came in early 1998. They had established themselves as champions, but they were still seen as outsiders to WWE's main event scene. That all changed the night after WrestleMania 14, when they officially joined D-Generation X. Aligning with Triple H and X-Pac took the Outlaws to the next level. They were no longer just tag team champions. They were now part of WWE's most rebellious faction. Their chemistry with DX was instant. Road Dogg's charisma, Billy Gunn's arrogance, and their ability to push the envelope fit perfectly with the group's anti-authority, rule-breaking mentality. As members of DX, the Outlaws became fan favorites. Their rebellious nature and outrageous promos made them two of the most popular stars of the Attitude Era. And in the ring, they were nearly unstoppable. One of their most infamous rivalries was against Mankind and Kane in 1998. The Outlaws had no problem using underhanded tactics to hold on to their titles, but they met their match when they crossed paths with Mankind and Kane's destructive force. The battles were brutal, and the Outlaws often found themselves on the receiving end of vicious beatdowns. But their ability to take a beating and keep running their mouths only made them more popular with the fans. By the end of 1998, the New Age Outlaws had cemented their place in WWE history. They had multiple tag team title reigns, some of the most memorable promos of the era, and an undeniable connection with the audience. But as the new millennium approached, everything started to fall apart. As 1999 rolled on, WWE believed Billy Gunn was destined for singles superstardom. With his impressive size and athletic ability, many in management saw him as a future world champion. So, the decision was made to break up the New Age Outlaws. Billy Gunn was given the biggest push of his career. He won the 1999 King of the Ring tournament, a victory that had previously elevated stars like Stone Cold Steve Austin and Triple H to the main event. But Gunn's run quickly fell apart. Fans weren't connecting with him as a singles wrestler the way they had in DX. His new Mr. Ass gimmick, though popular in some circles, didn't have the same magic as the New Age Outlaws. The defining moment of his failed push came at SummerSlam 1999 when he faced The Rock in a singles match. WWE was testing Billy Gunn as a main event player, but The Rock absolutely buried him in the feud. In a now infamous moment, The Rock mocked Gunn's character by cutting a promo where he talked to God, asking if Billy Gunn would ever become a star. The match ended with Gunn losing clean, and with it, his main event aspirations faded. Meanwhile, Road Dogg had some success in the singles division, winning both the Hardcore Championship and the Intercontinental Championship. But outside the ring, his personal demons were catching up to him. Years of alcohol and drug abuse were starting to take a toll on his career. His promos remained sharp, but his performances in the ring became inconsistent. He was struggling to keep up with the increasing demands of WWE's non-stop schedule. By early 2000, the New Age Outlaws had briefly reunited and won the Tag Team Championships one last time, but things were different. Road Dogg's personal issues were becoming more apparent, and Billy Gunn's stock had dropped significantly after his failed singles run. The team was no longer the dominant force they once were. Then, it all came crashing down. In early 2000, Road Dogg's substance abuse problems reached a breaking point. WWE management had run out of patience, and he was released from the company. Without his partner, Billy Gunn was left directionless. He struggled to regain his momentum and was eventually taken off TV due to a shoulder injury. The New Age Outlaws were no more. By the time the Attitude Era came to an end, the New Age Outlaws were a thing of the past. They had gone from nobodies to champions, from rebels to icons. They had defined tag team wrestling in one of the most competitive and exciting periods in WWE history. One truth remained: when the New Age Outlaws were at their peak, they were untouchable. They were loud, they were cocky, and they were damn good. Their legacy didn't need a happy ending because they had already made history. And if you weren't down with that, they had two words for you: